My passion for Citroens comes from the fact that they were designed by an individual in that era. There wasn't a team of engineers and electronic experts and things like that. So when I look at the Citroens from that era, well, all the cars of that era actually, I mean they were mostly designed by individuals, but Andre, he kind of set a standard that was quite revolutionary. When you think in 1938 he produced a car that was front-wheel drive. He put the transmission in front of the engine, which moves the engine back in the chassis. There's no chassis, by the way, it's a unibody, which is in that era totally unusual. When you look at the height of it, you realize that it's at least that much lower than any contemporary North American vehicle. And torsion bar suspension. It's very comfortable. And it's not a bad touring car. I mean, you can't go blowing down the 401 at 120K, but a nice steady 85, 90K, and it's relatively comfortable. The whole thing with Citroen for me was the fact that, you know, as I say, Andre designed this thing, and in 1938, and of course, along came the war, and then they shut the factories down, and then he started to reproduce them right after the war, right up to about 55, 56. And then from my traction Avant came the very revolutionary DS range, ID range, that again were front-wheel drive, but very streamlined. They had innovations like turning headlights. Not only did they turn when you went around the corner, but they went up and down as you went up and down the hill from connect to the rear sway bar. Aerodynamics on the DS's, the very streamlined cars, were better than almost any vehicle on the road today still. So that's kind of, and I've had 8 Citroens in my Citroen career. I'm a car guy, and you know, I mean, I had a garage in Toronto. I serviced all the British sports cars and the Rollses and the Bentleys and things like that. But the Citroen was always just off to one side a tiny bit, yeah. I drove it to Florida March a year ago, so we're talking, what, yeah, almost 2 years. And the object of the trip was to go down to Miami to meet a friend, a daughter who was living on a boat down there, and he decided to go with me. We head off to Amelia Island, and it's a huge antique classic car show and very, very upscale auction. And it was interesting because when I pulled the Citroen up into the main hotel, you know, with the driveway like that, and the place is just crawling with exotica. My little Citroen pulls up, and you know, it gets attention because it's just a bit different. But anyway, all the way down to Miami and back. We stayed off the interstates, obviously, focused on the state highways and things like that, which turned out to be pretty much traffic-free. But every time we'd pass under or over the interstate, you just see the density and the speed of the traffic and the tractor trailers. Just you're doing the interstate, you're driving the interstate, you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing, and there's a lot. You know, North America is a fascinating country, so you do get to see an awful lot more that way. Well, for me, the whole passion for cars is an integral part of my life. I've been, ever since I was a teenager in Florida, desperate to drive. I even stole my dad's Jag once in Toronto when he was away and tried to get the stupid Jaguar started, and of course it didn't, and I wound up parking it on the side. So cars have been a huge part. I've had, you know, a gas station in Toronto, I had a garage in Toronto, then I had my race shop and all the racing stuff. So the car thing has played a huge role. Now, I do appreciate that the car has not exactly been totally beneficial to our environment, but there's still an element there of going down the highway, paying attention, listening to the sounds and things like that. I'm not in an insulated capsule with the stereo going and no sense or feel of the road. So that's kind of where having that Citroen appeals to me.